All right. How's everybody doing? Let's go wiggy wiggy. It's so cold. I left the heater on in this room and it's just comfortable. It's not even too hot. This is garbage. My pond froze over. That's how cold it is. Unbelievable. In April. What a bunch of baloney. How's everybody doing? Hey Eric. Yeah, go Leafs today. I don't know. Actually, I think I kind of want Tampa to win today. If Tampa can win the division, then we'll still pull the Leafs in the first round. Bolt says go Lightning. Yep, I agree there. Braves, hey, we won a game. I know Silva says we won it. He wanted the tank. I know, but if Ottawa's not going to win their games and not cooperate, right? Not going to do us any good. Hey, Joe. Yeah, I saw that. Dallas blew a 3-goal lead in a minute and then lost it. Yep. Yeah, suddenly that loss to the Habs doesn't seem so bad, right? Steven says, I think every team has the same idea to try to get the Leafs, right? Hey, Universal Habs. Kachukin says, I'm pretty surprised with the win, but the dooming was because our thought that we would rest our top guys. They might still do it a little bit, like maybe on that back-to-back, but there's just it's tough because these games are going to have a pretty big effect on the standings one way or another. And, I get the thought that you don't want to make it too obvious that you're just completely tanking. Now, Barkov looked fine. That was scary that crashing into the boards he did. Reinhart looks like he could still use some time off. Maurice mentioned it. He's played more hockey than anybody else in the last 3 years. Let him sit. But then it could just be that Reinhart wants to play. Obviously, Forsling looked pretty good. We are going to get some days off before the playoffs, so we'll see how it goes. I wouldn't mind seeing Reinhart get another couple of games off. Maybe Schmidt get a game off. He's no youngster. I know he hasn't been on the 2 long runs. Habs, you only need 3 more points to clinch the last wild card. Yeah, you guys are going to do it. You guys would have to – Montreal would basically have to tank at this point not to get it. It's just I don't see anybody. And everybody else would have to win all their games, right? You only need a combination of 3 points, of points that you guys win and other teams lose. Kachuk says the shutdown defense was nice to see, but the Leafs look bad. Yeah, I don't know. Toronto didn't really play like they wanted that game, which tells you they don't want to play the Panthers, right? They'd rather play the Lightning. So, I saw what the Canucks did. That's just crazy. It was just, obviously, I'd say I'd never seen it before because it's never happened before. I mean, 3 like that inside of a minute. Too bad the game didn't have as much meaning as they would like, right? Marlboro Man says, hey, Jaws, Magna's doing a good job and keep Marchand with the Finns. The third line was like a pack of hyenas last night. Yeah, I absolutely agree that we keep Marchand with Lundell and Luosterainen. It works. It absolutely works. And I think that would be the plan during the playoffs, right? Because apparently Chucky is going to be good to go for game 1. Fatality says we lost the Predators in overtime. Coach Wall might be ripping us. Yeah, that's not good. But these bad teams, they pick it up at the end of the season. Look at Buffalo. Meadow says Dangle was pretty sure the Leafs just laid down and both our goals were just flukes. That won't happen again. Leafs seem pretty confident. Sure, I wouldn't look at last night's game as any indicator of what would happen during the playoffs. They did not bring their energy, that's for sure. We've seen the Panthers look like that many a time. The goals being flukes, I mean, it was Woll right? I mean, I don't know if I would necessarily call Forsling's shot a fluke. Seemed like pretty good hockey goal. I mean, they all seem like hockey goals, but that's okay. I get it. And then, so what do we have tonight? We will be live tonight. Kyle and I will be live tonight. Tampa versus Toronto. I think I'm still rooting for Tampa in that game, because if Tampa could win the division, then we'll still draw Toronto. I don't even know if we have much of a chance of getting second place. So wherever we're starting, we're probably starting on the road. Great White says, Jaws, last time I wore the red jersey on camera was 11-14-24 Devils Panthers recap. Is that this year? Is that the one time this year that I tried to wear it and we lost again, Great White? Because that's what I've been doing. I've been bringing it out early in the season each year, and then if we lose, I just put it away. Is that the one that we lost? Metal says we better lose to Tampa on purpose. Eyes, not quite yet. Not quite yet. Obviously, 1, 2, 3 in the division, especially 2 and 3. Especially 2 and 3. Is not settled yet. And Montreal could still catch Ottawa. They play. Montreal and Ottawa play each other. So if Montreal wins that game, there's still got a shooter's chance that they could catch and pass Ottawa if Ottawa lost a few games. I'm really surprised with how well Montembeault is playing, though. Can he keep that up? Think I wore it during one of the Capitals games. I thought I'd only wore it the one time this year. But I don't think we've won a game when I've worn it. I might have wore one of the other red shirts that I have, but that jersey, I only thought I'd tried it the one time. I know that if we had won a game with me wearing it, I might have kept wearing it, I would assume. Either way, it's been bad luck, that damn jersey. It sucks too. I like the red one. I like the red one better than the white one. Hey, Adonis, we're good, man. We're good. We're on our last week here, man. This is it. This is all she wrote. And then 19th through the 20th. So we got 98, 96, 94, 90. Leafs, Lightning, Panthers, Sens. But Canadians are 3 points behind the Senators. They could still catch them, though I doubt it. And then if Tampa Bay wins tonight, they'll be tied with the Leafs. But the Leafs have the tiebreaker. So after tonight, Toronto's schedule is Canadiens, Hurricanes, Sabres, and Wings. And the Lightning schedule after tonight is Wings, Sabres, Panthers, Rangers. So the Lightning, if they want to win the division, I suspect if the Lightning actually wanted to win the division, Tampa had a tiebreaker? I don't think so. Tampa had a tiebreaker to us. I looked at this earlier, though. I looked at this earlier when I was doing the podcast. Now is the first tiebreaker head-to-head or regulation overtime wins? I thought the first tiebreaker was regulation overtime wins. If that's the case, Toronto has 46 and Tampa has 43. Right now, Tampa and Toronto are tied at regulation wins. They're tied. So I guess in theory, if Tampa was to catch them, they would have more. Right now, both are at 39. But I thought it was regulation and overtime wins. RW first, then ROW. Let me here. Let's just Google it since there's a little bit of. Let's just see. Come on, phone. The first tiebreaker in the NHL. Yep, you're right. RW and then ROW. So if Tampa catches them, then they would have the tiebreaker. So yeah, I'd like to see if Tampa can win the division, then we would still end up with Toronto and Tampa versus Ottawa. Let those guys play, right? That'd be very interesting to see. All right, let me blow the chat back up so I can see. Hab says, I remember we defeated the Capitals in 2010 playoffs, and we could do it again. I'm all in for the Habs beating the Capitals. I hope it happens. Will the Jets suffer the President's Trophy curse? I don't think they're going to win the Cup. There's too many good teams in the West. I don't think Winnipeg is going to get out of there. Fat Truth says we want the Leafs first. Yeah, no disrespect to the Leafs. It's just Tampa with Vasilevsky in the first round. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure anybody, Ottawa would give them a hard time. But Don says, who do we think is making out of the West? If Landy's coming back for the playoffs, give me the Avs. Dallas, I mean, I know Dallas did what they did last night, but I don't know. I think I kind of have a feeling about Dallas winning that series. That series is going to be two teams that could easily win a cup, Dallas versus Colorado. There's a lot of that going on in the West, right? There's way more teams in the West that you would think could possibly win a cup. IDK says if the Habs win and somehow we face them, we're screwed. I would not be I'd rather play Tampa than Montreal in the first round of the playoffs. Hey, Vincent. Yeah, I've been taking some new medicine. My skin's on fire. Thanks for noticing. Zilla says, whatever Hagee breaks his leg, then comes back game 5 of the third round and scores a hat trick and a 5-4 comeback against Montreal to win the series. I don't think he can. Oh, you're talking about Eastern Conference Finals. Jeez. Hey, we should all congratulate for Hagee, though. He finally got a goal last night. And there was technically it was an empty net, but Marner was in goal. There was a player in the net. So that should be like an empty net goal with an asterisk. Bigger report. Yeah, absolutely. Marchand, Lundell, and E2 is going to be a really good third line. Absolutely agree there. I like it. Emperor King says you still think the Wild get the last wild card? Probably, but they better pick it up because Calgary's not playing around right now. Oh my God, JC. Oh my God, JC. I don't know if that's good news. JC, I can't imagine how many stupid things you say at home and get yourself in trouble with the wife. I can't imagine. Silva says it doesn't count. It was an empty netter. I know. Adonis, I for the most part agree, but if they were smart, they'd care about who they play. Silva, I don't think Bob is retiring. Bob's going to resign. You're going to see Bob get an extension this summer. 2 or maybe even 3 years at like 6 or 7 million. Going to see Bob get an extension. Kachuk says it doesn't count because he missed the first shot. He fell down. Barkov was trying to pass him the puck because they were going to be able to go down the ice, and Verhaeghe fell down. Unbelievable. Martin was only there to stop the Marchand shot. I get it, Kenneth, right? Swaggy finally took the blue chew. Good point, Silva. Wild need to get the wild card. It's in their name. It was sugar water. Vince. Oh, if they win the cup again, Vincent, if they win the cup again, I'll do the post-game recap drunk and topless. That's what I will do. If they win the cup again, I will do the post-game recap drunk and topless. I know I won't, and I won't cut the camera off like here. Great White says if we gave Reiner a rest, who would I put on the line to replace him? Well, if we were going to give him a rest right now, what was it? Barkov, Reinhart, Verhaeghe? I mean, if we're just resting guys, I would put, what's his name up there? The kid, Polviari. I'd put him up there. He's good on defense. He's not going to screw anything. Figure Report says that an Erod drops the fourth when Chucky comes back. So, yeah, they said last night on ESPN, barring anything unforeseen, that Chucky'd be ready for game 1. So Barkov, Reinhart, Verhaeghe, Bennett, Kachuk, Samoskevich, Lundell, Luosterainen, Marchand, and Sturm with Rodriguez and Greer. That's what I hope the fourth line would be. And then Boquist and Nosek are the extras. That's what I would hope it would be. I hope he sticks with Greer and doesn't put Boquist in that spot. Trey says, I went into yesterday up 10 and now I'm down 20. Oh, geez. What did you have? Jeez, man. Habs, yeah, you guys are getting Demidov. Yeah, it's like a few years ago when you guys called up Caulfield at the end. Fly says that was literally the funniest shit when he fell. I couldn't stop laughing about it. It's like the poor dude. It's just like, it's like there's somebody with a voodoo doll of Verhaeghe going, wait. It's crazy. Pull the larvae. Oh, I like that, Vincent. Yeah. So it says no, Martian with Kachuk. Hold on a second. With and Bennett. No, they're not. He's not going to do that. Maurice is going to leave Marchand with Lundell, Luosterainen. That's why he's got him there. That's why he's got him there. Number one, it limits Marchand's ice time, and that's something that Maurice has been talking about. And it will bring the offense out of Lundell and Luosterainen, like you saw last night. Luosterainen got a goal. I doubt very seriously he's going to move Samoskevich off that second line when they're healthy. Hey, thank you, Great White. Thank you, buddy. Much appreciated, bud. Thank you. All right. Trey says, my guys were solid, just run into a buzzsaw. Other guy threw up 70. Jeez. Yikes. Yeah, Pulley is a good nickname. Yeah. Thank you, Gray White. Miserable Sabres fan says, us winning now. Boy, I wonder where this was early in the season. I hate this GM Adams. Sabres aren't putting up with this any longer. I feel for you, man. Every year it's the same thing. You start off, you look like you might be able to maybe, and then no. And then at the end of the season, they give you all this fake hope, right? We still have to play the Sabres. I mean, the teams that they're beating good teams. Trey says Stammer had 13 last night. Yeah, you got to be careful, Trey, when the other team has got somebody from like the Sabres or Preds or Sharks, because nobody's taking them seriously this time of the year. Did you have anybody from Vancouver? Yeah, I agree there, Adonis. Forsling looking good right now. JC says, do I think there are too many leaders in the group that our locker room is butting heads? No. No. I think there's two very distinct styles. You got the Barkov, Reinhart, Lundell, Luosterainen guys, and then you got the Bennett, Kachuk, Marchand, Greer guys over here. I think that it might, maybe it's a little bit cliquish, but they seem to have good chemistry, everybody together. They were throwing rats at Marchand last night. Gregory Report says, yeah, managing Marchand's minutes is important. Third line, PK, and second unit power play. Yeah, that's enough for him. Yeah. We want to keep him fresh. He almost had that break. Well, he had a breakaway. That would have been great for his first goal. I have a feeling he's getting a little bit frustrated with not scoring yet. Ice. Sabres GM Kevin Adams, a Panthers legend. I was just talking about the Sabres on the members podcast today, and I was looking at Devon Levi, and it's like, man, that dude, I feel bad. No, I feel bad for him, but he's not turned out to be what some people thought he was going to be. But then he was a 7th round pick. Vincent says, I did notice Megna in the first practice in camp. Maurice acting surprised. This coach is full of it. What a funny guy. I guess they just wanted to keep on calling Bornfoot up to see if he could ever get it, right? But at least they sent him down and brought Megna up. It's a shame he's not a younger guy. He fits what we do pretty good. I mean, he's only 32. That's about Kulikov's age. I would absolutely not mind keeping Megna around as 6-7D and giving him a contract for a year or two. He doesn't have a lot of minutes on him. He hasn't played a lot of time in the NHL, so he's probably fresh enough. He's solid. He's a big dude. Kachukin says, there's always something to play for. You just go from playing for points to playing for jobs. Yeah. Trey says, I didn't have any Canucks, but he had Sherwood. Oh, man. 6 points just off the overtime goal. Oh, God. Jeez. Miserable, man. I get it. We did our time. Panther fans did our time, man. We did. I mean, from 2000 to 2014, 15, I think we made the playoffs once. Let's see this. Let's see. Because I remember I just did a video about this not that long ago. From 2005 and 6 to 2014, 15. No, wait, it goes further than that. Yeah. So starting in 2000, 2001, we made the playoffs once in 2011, 12, and then not again until 15, 16, and then not again until we got good. So in 19 seasons, we made the playoffs 3 times. 3 stinking times and didn't win a round. It was rough. A lot of those teams were bad. Oh boy, the top 5 coaches in top 5, Adonis, Fly Guy, he's old. You talking about Magna? He's only 32. He's only 32, I think. I thought he's 30. 32 is not old. That's younger than Kulikov, I think. Let's see. Magna is... He's 32. And Kulikov, how old is Kulikov? Kulikov is 34. Kulikov is 34. So Magna could play for a couple of years for us, I'm sure. The best 5 coaches. Oh boy, best 5. I mean, obviously, I'm going to put Maurice Cooper. Cooper, to me, is the best coach in the NHL. I'll put Maurice in there only because he's a pain in the ass so much that I admire the stubbornness. Got to put Andrew Burnett in there. No. Oh, boy. That's a good question. Past those 2. Because there's been so much turnover. You know, all the old guards are out. I have to give that some thought because there's nobody that's really like torn it up more than, I mean, Coop to me, Cooper's the best in the game. Trey says the thing that, oh, geez, what the hell happened to the chat? The thing that's chomping my ass is there are 2 players I could have picked up. The itch told me to, but you sniped Demidov instead. And those players are Matt Oliver plus Sutter. Man, you got to go with your gut, Trey. You know that. Yeah, Bugner's the best. Trey says Monty. I like Torts too. Trey says Cooper, Maurice, Cassidy, Monty. Jared Ben. So he's got 1 Cooper, 2 Paul Pomo, 3 Cassidy, 4 Montgomery, and 5 Bednar. That's a good list. That's a good list. It's interesting how most people agree about Cooper being number 1. Kachukin says it was rough to watch games back then when I embraced it and became a fan due to being lovable losers. The shock on Canadian hockey fans bumping into a person wearing a Panthers hat. Yeah. No, Kyle's actually awake. Oh, yeah, Fly, I get what you're saying. But, I mean, for a year or 2 to have him on the roster so we don't have to go out and get a guy like him come playoff time, you know, he's just solid. But I get it. I mean, look, we're desperate for anybody that is even an old defensive prospect in our system is still good. Bolt says, Jaws, still say Sens will give us every chance they have if we're healthy, then you're in good in the play. Yeah. You say the Senators will give you a hard time in the playoffs, but if we have healthy players, I'm not worried at all. Oh, yeah. I don't want to play Tampa in the first round because I think Tampa's going to win their first round series. If Tampa's not going to win their first round series, it's going to go 7 games, and whoever exits that first round series is not going to be all that healthy and rested and fresh. So that's all I'm saying is just like I would much rather – and look, if we got to play Tampa in the second round, if that happens, that happens. But I just have a feeling Tampa is going to be a massive pain in the ass in the first round. I says Tom Rowe is the best. Where is Tom Rowe? Where is Tom Rowe? Vince says Maurice, and then Grumpy, and then Jaws. Yeah, he's scumpier than me. Not by much. JC says, my concern now is Bob being gassed out for the playoffs. I don't want to see Bob play any games except the last game of the season. I would hope we would see Vanacek. How many games has Bob played? How many games has Bubba played so far? Let's see. Let's look. He's played 52. He's got 52 starts. Last year he had 58. So he's probably on pace for 4 or 5 fewer starts. Interesting that last year was the most starts Bobrovsky had with us, and that's the year we won the Cup. Now with Columbus, he had a lot more starts at one point. 63, 65, 62 his last 3 years in Columbus. And then with us, 50, 31, 50, 58 last year, and then 52 this year. He's actually playing more games as he gets older. Yeah, 2 years ago, he was 2 years younger. Yeah. John started the playoffs. We're ready to go. Name the 4 lines. Barkov, Reinhart, Verhaeghe, Bennett, Kachuk, Samoskevich, Lundell, Lusterine, and Marchand, Sturm with Rodriguez and Greer. That's for me. Oh, Ethan says, who do I think has the best contract on the Panthers? I mean, Forsling under $6 million is just. I'm surprised the league approved that contract. I mean, I know they have to. But under 6 for Forsling, it just feels illegal. It really does. Barkov obviously would get more than 10 on the open market, but when he signed that contract, 10 was pretty good. And I says, hey, Jaws, hope you're doing well. It sucks we might not make the playoffs. Would be a good story for Johnny Gaudreau. I appreciate that, bud. Yeah, I know Kyle was really hoping that Columbus could pull it off. And you guys held on to that spot for so long. But, man, it's what Montreal and Ottawa did. They just got hot at the right time. And everything was so close that's all it took. JC says, Bob, Luongo, Beezer, Vokun in that order. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. No, the Reinhart contract ain't bad either. Metal says the Lundell contract will look like gold if he produces a little bit more. Sure. Which I think he would if he was in that position. Olvar says, I must apologize, Jaws. I must be some sort of curse. The one game I missed, they win. Well, yeah, so now the tank is off. We can't tank now. So now we just got to hope Tampa wins the division. That's a big part of that's tonight. But now if you're Tampa, who do you want to play? If you're Tampa and you're getting an opportunity to choose your opponent, who do you want, Florida or Ottawa? Probably Florida, right? Because of the travel. Great White says, Vasi in the second round lacks the starting power. I've seen it many times when he's on the road. Huh. But he won a couple cups, though. Yeah, Lil J says the league wants us playing Tampa because now the Canadians ain't paying. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Hey, Fireborn. Trey says if the Jackets permanently switch to the Cannon logo sweaters, they'll immediately be a 100-point team. And Ethan, yeah, you're right. It's hard for Lundell to get points if his line mates can't score. I think with Marchand and Lundell there, I think that's going to be. I really think that's going to be a good line for us. Kachukin says, anyone heard from Eki? He better be bulked up with all the time he can spend at the gym. He can practice now with the guys, right? Hey, Pente. At the moment, Lundell is overpaid. His contract doesn't come in until next year, though, right? Right? Kind of like Verhaeghe's, because that was an extension, but Lundell was not he wasn't a free agent. Let me see if I'm correct there. Oh, so he was? I must have. Oh, but wait, he was still, or was he still an RFA? God, he's only 23. He must have been an RFA. That's what it was. Yeah. So he's in that first year at $5 million right now. I can't believe he's still only 23. He's been here, right? It feels like he's been here for a while now. His first season was the President's Trophy season. So 1, 2, 3. This is his fourth season. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he might be a little bit overpaid right now, but it's also Sam Bennett insurance in case that goes down. Which, how come Bennett hasn't signed a contract? Fly Guy says Mikula for 2.5 is robbery. That's for sure. Boulevard, you think Tampa's going to play pinball with Toronto? John says, what does Bennett expect to be paid? Ekblad loves Samuel's game. Loves Samuel's game, for sure. The rumor, the innuendo has been Bennett is asking for 8. The fact that we haven't given him 7 and just gotten the deal done tells me either we're really trying to lowball him or we don't have 7 or we're still going to try to pay Ekblad something. I don't know what you give Ekblad because you paid Jones. So if we really want to re-sign Ekblad, we've kind of painted ourselves into a corner. I don't know. Because we gave Jones Ekblad's money. Bolt says, Jaws, I want Florida because you're not far from us. Gotcha. Benji says, not by much, Jaws. Yeah, he's just a little bit. But that's a contract that if he produces or becomes 2C at some point, right, that it could even out. Yeah, I agree there, Colin. Dietrich says, I would rather face Sens or Leafs versus Tampa. Instead of Tampa, right? Ethan, I think that from what I was told, he was allowed to come back to practice once half of the suspension had been served. I think that's what some of the guys here said. Your cup pick is Tampa, Pente. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they won the conference. I'm hoping obviously it's not, but that's why I don't want Tampa in the first round. Yandel is definitely the most overpaid Panther, right? Panther says, I didn't understand why Zito signed Verhaeghe before Bennett. That's a fair question. That's a fair question for sure. But, he signed Lundell too. So it's like, Zito gets these guys. It's like with Ekblad now. You got Jones. He can negotiate with Ekblad harder because we got Jones. With Bennett, he can negotiate harder with him because we got Lundell. Not that I want Bennett to go anywhere. Fly Guy, you think Bennett wants to play in Toronto? Oh, before he retires. John says, nothing against Luciano, but I like Lundell with Rodriguez and Marchand. They'll never break up Lundell and Luciano, though. That's those two guys have just been playing together for so long. They're like, you just can't break them up. You know what I mean? Ethan, yeah, Bennett over Ekblad for sure. Pendix says, I really think Zito has done a few mistakes with Rahagi and also Jones. The Jones thing is really interesting. The timing of the whole thing. We haven't heard any talk about an Ekblad extension, right? I mean, it may just be a situation where they just replaced Ekblad with Jones. I mean, at worst, it's a push. They do very similar things, that's for sure. Oh, JC. My sister did that too. My sister tried that. They spent all their money trying to get pregnant and never could. Kachukin says maybe Ekblad failed an internal drug test and that's why they traded for Jones. I kind of feel the way this is all playing out, I kind of feel like they knew Ekblad was going to be suspended. So they went to Kachuk and they said, your groin hurts. And that's because we're going to need your money to go get Jones and have enough money to still get the other guys. Because if Kachuk is going to play game one again in the playoffs, which is what Kevin Weeks said last night, and Kachuk hasn't already been seen skating, like really practicing, that tells me I'm not so sure how hurt he was. Something funky went on there. You don't just go from it's April 10th and I can't practice because my groin hurts to it's April 19th and it's game one of the playoffs and I'm on the ice. Something. Metal says if you want an injury-prone defenseman, but one that doesn't do Ekblad-style blunders, sign Punk, right? In the offseason, let Ekblad walk. You want to ask community to be on the lookout as you're selling off the collection. Dang, man. JC, text me about all of that. Loj says this team is designed to beat Tampa healthy. The Bolts are better than last year, but if we can't beat them, we aren't repeating. No disagreement. But I would rather play them in the second round. If we're going to have to play them, I'd rather play them in the second round after Ottawa beats the crap out of them for 7 games. Because I just think Tampa is just going to come out of the gates with so much energy. Let somebody else take the brunt of that in the first round. It could be a situation where because of all the physicality between Florida and Tampa, maybe whoever wins that series can't finish the job. Hey, Dana. Fireborn Knight says if we play the Blues in the first round, they will put up a good fight up against us. One thing I hope Is Mark Stone not playing injured? Yeah. Stone's always seems to be injured. I would think Vegas would win that series. I know the Blues went on a heater. I know, but I think Vegas is going to be a tough out. Great White says, I guess I was trying to say Vasi at home is almost hard to stop, but the Panthers can do it. As long as we score our 2 goals a game, we should win the cup again, right? Pante says, to me, Verhage ain't worth more than $5 million. I mean, if he was going to be getting 40 goals a year, it's tough. It's tough. We'll see what he does in the playoffs. Even Maurice kind of alluded to that the other day when they asked him about it. They said, he was talking about how Verhage really shines in the high intensity moments and the close contact, and that he just hasn't had that kind of opportunity this year. Basically saying, just wait for the playoffs, is what Maurice was kind of saying. I wish, Eyes. Don't I wish? They got their YouTube thing going on now. They would never do it, Eyes. I'm too critical. Dietrich says sign and make Bennett assistant captain. If Ekblad goes, you probably will see that exactly happen, Dietrich. I think if Ekblad goes, I think you will see Bennett get the A. Unless they want to be sure that there's a defenseman and give it to Forsling. Fly says the rumor is that Bennett wants to play in Toronto before he retires, and now would line up with the Marner, Nylander, Matthews, Nyes, Tavares core. Do they have the money for all of that though, or do they have to send somebody out? I think Bennett would. Well, I mean, if he wants to play in Toronto, he wants to play in Toronto. He's already got his cup. I think Tavares is up, but they're going to pay him cheap. They'll probably stay. Colin. Pente, $7 million with no state tax to Verhage is just too much. I would have paid him 5 by 5 or leave and thanks. I wish we would have signed Bennett first. That's for sure. Amen, Trey. Right. And the little J says they paid the guy who scores clutch goals for Hagee before the enforcer and Bennett. Right. Lil J, I'm pretty sure that Jones has a no move clause. I can't, because he had to waive it. He had to waive it to come here. Jones is here. Fly Guy says, it's been my conspiracy theory that Maurice turned Ekblad in to move him off the first line. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Get him out of here. Dietrich says, I think some of the team staff was complicit, not Ekblad working alone. And you think Ekblad just fell on the sword for the team? That's also possible. Kachuk says LTIR does have to get approved by a league doctor. It's more than likely Kachuk has the other injury still that he got surgery for earlier in the season. Interesting. Pente says Tampa's a lot better this year and Florida is weaker. We don't have the same bottom six depth. Well, we certainly don't have the same fourth line depth. We'll put it that way. I mean, it sounds good to have a fourth line of Sturm, Rodriguez, and Greer, but if Maurice, that's still not. Now it was Stenlin with Rodriguez and Lomberg. I'd take that fourth line to the bank for sure. Dietrich says, I think most players take as much legally possible if it helps, sniffing salts included, right? Hey, thank you, John. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, John. He says, look, I want as high in the seedings as possible, record-wise for us. Tampa would be tough, but Maurice has a damn good record versus Tampa as our coach. All right. I mean, look, no disagreement. No disagreement. I do think we can beat the Lightning. I'm more concerned about the physicality of this series. And, of course, if Vasilevsky goes on his bullshit. But I'm really just more concerned about the physicality because of the history between the Panthers and Lightning. And, you know, you got a team like the Lightning. They've won championships. How many years in a row are they going to allow themselves to be eliminated in the first round? The extra motivation of being the team that knocks off the champs. I just feel like Tampa, even if we came out of that series with a W, that we could end up a lot worse for the wear, and it would really affect us down the road. And they got 7 goal scorers, right? Hey, Dark Change. You're saying Flames still have a chance? Yeah, no, the Flames have a shot. Absolutely. Flames are not toast here. You've got the Wild with 91 points. You got the Flames with 87, but they've got a game in hand. So assume they've won the game in hand. Now the Flames are 2 points out. Flames schedule, okay, they get the Ducks. So they get the Ducks tomorrow. If they win that game, they're 2 points out with a game in hand. Okay, well, no, that is the game in hand. So they're 2 points out if they beat the Ducks. The next game is against the Wild. They play. So Flames win that game, it's tied. And then the Flames' next 3 games are Sharks, Knights, and Kings. And I just don't know how much the Knights and Kings are going to be fighting for points. Flames still got to win the games. But definitely not, yeah, there's definitely a slim possibility. Martyr. Yeah, Eric, I that's where I am right now is and we're going to find out tonight. We'll find out tonight what Tampa wants to do. Now, it was obvious last night that Toronto was not interested in allowing Ottawa to jump us. I mean, in public, they're all going to say the same thing. But you know dang well, in private, there's teams that these guys would rather play. Dark, man, I completely agree with you. Dark, when the Penguins hired Dubas, I assumed it was for a tear it down and rebuild. I don't understand. They gave Jari all that money, and they practically just got older. I didn't understand it because anybody that could objectively look at the rosters in the Eastern Conference, the Penguins were not in that conversation with Florida and Tampa and even Boston at the time, Toronto. It was just, the Canes. It wasn't going to happen. So I get the idea of wanting to. Washington did it the right way. You see how Washington built themselves up and at least gives Ovi a chance here at the end. What Pittsburgh did, when he gave Jari that contract, I was just stunned. Oh, David says Verhage signed an autograph in Palm Beach. Awesome. You guys bring a bottle and bring a liquor bottle and put Swiggy on it. Eric says, Jaws, how I think the game plays out tonight. If you're talking about tonight, I'm not sure. Thank you, Amanda. Did Great White send another one? Because I had gotten the Great Whites earlier. Did Great White send another one? Hold on. Let me shorten the chat here a little bit. No, I didn't see that. Thank you, Great White. Thank you, Great White. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, guys. I blow up the chat so big that while I'm talking, I will miss things. So thank you for letting me know. Thank you, guys. Much appreciated. Let me blow the chat back up. I can't see it unless I blow it up. I've gone blind in the last 3 months. Like, I can't see anything now. I got to go to the doctor. I don't know what's wrong with me. Amanda, I'm so behind in the comments. Yeah. It's weird. The other thing with that, Amanda, is that the StreamYard will freeze the comments a little bit, and all of a sudden I'll get 20 comments at once. It's a little bit of a glitch with StreamYard. Yeah, exactly, Lil J. The Pens need to take advice from the Caps. Thank you both again. Thank you guys again. And girls. Sherry says, congrats to your Sens for making the playoffs. Yeah. Now just stay there. Stay there. Let Tampa win the division, Sherry, and just beat the crap out of Tampa so we have an easier time with them in the second round. We appreciate it. David says it's getting old, but don't worry, it'll get way worse. I know. Like, what is it? Let's put it this way. When I came down there in January, or when I came down to visit everybody at Christmas, I didn't need my glasses for any of this. I was fine. And like in the last 2 or 3 months, 2 months really, it's just gotten really bad. So it must be something I'm doing wrong. Tark says, yeah, Jaws, now we have picks for the draft. Also, I know Malkin and Crosby are on the soul of the team. I think we need to take a note from the Capitals, and you'll be right back on track. Yeah. It takes a few years, though. I don't know what's going to happen there. But he can still play. How old is Crosby? He's not obviously. Is he as old as Ovechkin? Good question. Cam says, do I think Ovi will go for 1,000 goals or retire before then? So 895. So he needs 105 for 1,000. That's, realistically speaking, that's 3 more seasons. Even at 40 apiece, that's still 3 more seasons. I don't know. Yeah, it's like 3 seasons. That's a tough one. Sherry, Crosby's 37. Yeah, so Pittsburgh could, they had to hurry up. The problem for the Penguins is all the good teams in the Eastern Conference. You got teams that are up and coming. If Montreal gets a goalie, they're going to win a cup. Or at least they're going to be a massive pain in the ass in the conference for a while. David says, I'm 56 and man, I need glasses, a cane sometimes, and at least 3 coffees and 2 Red Bulls to get your day started. I haven't gotten there yet. Great White says, old sharks never die. We just swim faster. Yeah. Thank you, Dark. Yeah, that would put Ovi at 42. I mean, that's what I was just going to say that. Oh, David says, we could pull a Yager. Yeah. Absolutely. Eric, I'm rooting for Tampa tonight. Because Tampa wins the division. We get Toronto. Let Ottawa and Tampa beat the crap out of each other in the first round. We'll take care of Toronto. No offense to the Toronto fans, but I'm going to trust Bob over Stolars. And then Brady Tkachuk will help his brother out. That's the angle we'll take. Let Brady Tkachuk help Matthew Tkachuk out, because we sure as hell don't want Florida versus Ottawa, because whoever wins that series is they're not going to survive the next round anyway. Amanda says, Obi drinks too many beers for him to play like Yager. Or to play longer than Yager. He's still playing. Yager, I mean, he's in his last year with his team at home, but he was still playing. Yager and I believe, are the same age. So, all right, everybody, I got to roll. I got to go. We got a game tonight, and I've got an appointment at 2:00, so I got to get myself some food. Kyle and I will be live tonight for Leafs Lightning. So everybody bring your own booze. We're going to have a good time. And then we'll just go from there. Members podcast is already out. I'm looking at Wildlife saying, yeah, I think Talk to Text got you there, Wildlife. All right, everybody. Appreciate all the support. Thank you for all the super chats. Much, much, much appreciated. We will see you tonight live as the Lightning begin their. They waited all year, and now they're going to win the division. That's what's going to happen, right? Okay.